Alright, tonight we are going to take a look at the Sega Outrun steering that broke when it was out on location for the pop-up arcade. I've already got the control panel lowered, but just in case you're not quite sure how the steering wheel comes off, the first thing you do need to take off is the little center cap. There's usually a screw holding that on if you still have yours. Then there are 3 screws that hold on the steering wheel. They use those fancy security Torx bits, so you're going to need yourself one of those Harbor Freight security bit kits. That should take it off. Underneath, we've got, in the dark here, 4 nuts that need to come undone first before we go any further. But let's take a quick look in here to figure out what's going on. So we lost steering. What that means is the game couldn't steer. But I think everything's still working electronically. So if we take a look at the gear, these are the 3D printed gears I had done. We can see that the gears here turn, but it's not bouncing back. And if we look closely, this gear is not spinning, which spins the potentiometer over here. Yeah, I know it's missing the back. But if we look, I'm suspecting that this big gear down here is the one that's broken. Fortunately, I think we're going to need to take this whole thing apart to get to it. So we're going to try and go ahead and do that. I'll try to document it the best I can along the way. There's a really good video out there that shows somebody removing this whole assembly and putting in new gears in less than 20 minutes. He did loosen a couple things along the way. That helps out substantially because sometimes these screws and nuts are hard to get off. They've used the red Loctite on here all over the place, and these screws are just generally soft. You can see they get kind of marred up from the Loctite. I did not put Loctite back on, knowing that the next time I would struggle to get them off. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I'm going to start taking some things off, and I'll let you know how we go about this along the way. So as we look at the bottom of the control panel, we've got 4 nuts here. They're 10 millimeters. You're going to go through and undo all 4 of those. Of course, when you're undoing those nuts, keep in mind that there's 4 screws on the other side that will make your life difficult if you don't have something there to hold them. So just keep that in mind. Next thing we're going to need to do is to pull this cotter pin out of the motor linkage. And that's over here. Let's see if we can actually get this greasy thing out. Maybe. Alright, that's out. Then we're going to go ahead and loosen and take out all 4 screws here. There's 4 for the motor. And there's nuts here on the other side that you'll need to break free. Let me caution you right now, though, that the metal that they use for these is soft, and sometimes with that red Loctite on, if it's never been broken off, it can make it difficult to remove. So make sure you don't accidentally strip any of these screws. I've had trouble with these in the past, so we'll try to take it easy. I don't think this one will be too bad because I've undone it before. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. Taking off the back too. Luckily, these aren't too bad because, like I said, I've undone it before. I've gone through and already broken it off, you know, the tension off screen here, just in case it didn't work. And there should be some lock washers there too. We'll clean those up in a second. And then what we're going to do is very carefully here pull this motor up like this so it can slip out the linkage, and then we're just going to drop it right back in place. Nope, I see everything falling. Then I'm going to go ahead and just put the nuts on loose so I can get them off and not lose them. I have a tendency to lose things, not quite sure why. Actually, yeah, that's true. Very true. Don't laugh, I lost one of the nuts. It's got to be around here somewhere. I'll find it. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this metal bracket here, and then we're going to come over here and take off the potentiometer bracket. And I'll show you that right now. Maybe we'll just do that first. So So there's the potentiometer bracket. Yeah, that's the one with it missing. Just so you know, that's what it looks like. That thing spins back and forth. We'll go ahead and we'll take this off. Let's not lose the screws like I joked and said I wouldn't. Put that down on the floor for a second. I think that's where I lost it. And there's another one back here somewhere. There it is. And once you've got that out, you can actually just pull this off. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to save that screw so I don't lose it. Actually, you know what I found it to be helpful is to put them back on in here. Just enough so you don't lose everything. Although, I still have a tendency to lose things. Apparently. Found the other screw. Well, no, just kidding. This is the screw I put down on the floor. Alright, cool. There we go. Screws are in, so we know where they are. Now it's time to take this bottom piece off here. Well, I say it's bottom, but it's actually the top of the control panel. Here we go. See, that's how I lose things. They just fall, I drop them, I lose them. Alright, now that is off. I got the screw that fell. All 4 screws here are the same length, and that's okay. And just in case you're curious as to what this looks like it's got little bushings in here so that this whole mechanism kind of slides on it. We'll just go ahead and put the screws right in here. As I drop it again. Come on. Alright, there we go. They're all in there. Now that we've gone ahead and taken all this stuff out, we're just about ready to pull this thing out. Now, if you recall, one of the first things I did is loosen the nuts on the back of these big giant screws here. Those are the things you're going to want to take out. And when you watch the other video with the guy doing it, he's already had those pre-loosened, so he just comes in and pulls those out. So don't forget to take those nuts out. They're 10 millimeters. We did that earlier. We'll just take all 4 of these out. Generally, they're super greasy. There's another one way over here. Another big one on front. Let me see if I can show you guys. Alright. See? There we go. So there's one here. There's one over there. We've taken out those 2. Take out this one. It should just come out. Maybe. It is loose. It's spinning. It's free! And then one more of these greasy suckers. Hey, oh, I heard something fall. What was it? Was it the nut I needed? I bet you it was on, like, right in front of my face. Alright. So we got those 4 out. It was right down there. Alright. Here they are. Those 4. Put those on some cardboard since I'm actually in the basement. And your hands get greasy. It's like actually working on a car. Where is that thing that I heard fall? I don't know. Okay, now we can actually go ahead, and this is free, so because this is free, we can now pull this out through the front. We'll go ahead and do that. Let me just put this tripod down. They said pull it out through the front. We're not pulling it out through the front. We're pulling it out this way. Maybe. Alright. Ta-da! There we go. We're free. So just come out. Don't rest on you. It's greasy. We'll put it down and work on it. Oh look, there it is. We found it. There's the nut. Alright, so we've got this whole mechanism out. And by the way, if you want to check out Travis Holcomb's video, I'll put a link down in the description. It's the way to do it. I mean, I tell you, he goes through the entire thing in less than 20 minutes and puts it back together. Mine's going to be a bit longer than that. Granted, he does loosen a few things along the way, but it's the way to go. Besides, we get to chat and watch me lose nuts and stuff like that. Alright, next thing we need to do is we need to undo this linkage so that we can take off this plate here, because this whole cage sits in a plate, and in order to take any of these things out, this cage needs to be out so the shafts there can pull out to the top. Alright, we need to remove another cotter pin. We're going to remove this cotter pin down in there. So there's that cotter pin. We're kind of zoomed in. Take that out. Make sure I don't lose that, which I'm probably going to do. We'll zoom back out here. And then I'm going to spin this around so you can see. Cardboard is handy in this case. This whole thing just slides right out. So we're going to slide this out. There, Travis said that he had a washer on the back, but alas, I did not. And that's fine. Everything's going to fall. We're just going to put it back together real quick. This thing is a greasy mess. Alright, so goes like that, spacer, linkage, and then the other one. And then there should be a washer on the back side that I didn't have. Next up, we've got 4 screws to undo on the front. Apparently, I am missing a screw. Travis says there's supposed to be 4, and I only have 3. It's still working. There should be 1, 2, that's missing, 3 and 4, right there. So we'll take those out. This is turning out to be funnier and funnier with the amount of screws that are missing. They must be lying around somewhere. Now I know why these are all stripped too. Alright, so those 4, or 3 in my case, are out. Next thing we need to do is take out these nuts in here. Let me see if I can move the camera. Give me a second. Alright, we spun it around. You've got 4 nuts to take off. There's one here, another one over here, another one back here, and then one that goes straight through where the linkage was, which is why part of the reason you need to take that linkage out. They are metric. I didn't have the metric size handy, but I will tell you that a 5/16 is pretty darn close, and there may be an exact metric conversion for that. I don't remember. Somebody let me in the comments and I'll look it up later. It's 1, 2, as I lose them, 1, 2, and then here's 3. And then 4. There are washers there too, so just keep that in mind when you lift this out. You see down in there. Right down in there is number 4. Where's the net? Up. There you go. Keep them all together. And then something should be free. Oh wait, did I undo everything? I probably need to undo a couple screws. Hold on a second. Let's go check with Travis. I didn't need to check in. I figured it out. I missed 2 screws here. 1, 2. In addition to those nuts that were there. Sometimes I think this is over-engineered. But then again, I'm not an engineer. Alright. How about now? There we go. Oh, I'm losing washers. I can see it. There's one. There's another one over here. Maybe. What am I catching on? Nobody knows. Pardon me. I'll put my arm in the way and struggle with this. And figure out what I'm caught up on. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, I did shake it with Travis. You know what I forgot to do? This is dumb. I need to flip this over. We'll watch things fall out. If I need to take, yep, I heard them. We gotta take out the screws that we took the nuts off, and then we'll be good. There goes another washer. Perfect. Alright, there we go. Now I think everything's just going to fall out on us. But that's okay. So we'll put the screws back in there. We'll put that slider off to the side. We'll get our washers here. 1, 2, 3. There's probably supposed to be 4, but in classic that Tim Guy fashion, we don't have them all. Alright. Now, this should come out. Oh, come on. There we go. Pardon my arm. It slides. What's missing? Let me fuss with this. Okay, because you're gonna fuss with this as much as I fussed with this, and I want to save you the agony. So what happens is the front of this gets caught on here. This has some give to it so you can bend it, but I found that going that way didn't really work. Then I needed to really kind of pry from the back and get it over this lip down here. Once we got it up over that lip, now it slides in or out. That's what she said? No, not an appropriate joke. Okay, I'll get this out of the way. And now we're left finally with that cage there. So the next thing we're going to do is start taking the gear out. Now remember, we need to replace this gear here. As you can see, this whole shaft is spinning with this gear, but the rest of it's not. So I'm suspecting that this gear is bad. When Travis does it, he takes out this shaft. I'm going to see if I can actually remove this without taking out that shaft. We'll find out. I don't know. So the first thing we're going to need to do is you have 2 set screws in this gear. You're going to need to loosen those set screws using an Allen key. You'll come in and you'll loosen both of those, and then you're going to slide that plastic gear off, in case mine's plastic, but slide that off. And don't make sure you'll lose any set screws. You shouldn't need to take them out all the way. Alright, so that is out. there's my plastic 3D printed gear. And let's kind of take a look at it while we're here. Seems to be holding up. This one seems to be holding up okay. Looking for any worn teeth. I think it's holding up alright. Not a lot of strain on this one, which is good, because that's just the one that turns the potentiometer. So we'll put that off to the side. And now we're going to come in and work on seeing if we can get that out. First up to take off is this up here. This has the stop that holds the springs on and what provides that tension to it. So we're going to remove that. But I think actually the first thing we're going to do is remove the spring that holds, there's two springs, one on each side, that gives it the tension, that force feedback, if you know, so say. And I'll come in and get the other one. It's over here. Can you see it? Can you see it? You need to see it. Right down there by that yellow gear on the right. Alright, I'll pull that other one off and we'll get to work. Alright, got that other spring off. We'll come in here and remove this. Maybe. Alright, I'm going to use... look at it. It's all stripped. It's all stripped. So we're going to... I bet you had the same problem last time. Oh, that one's coming out. There you go. There's one. And let's see here. Nope. Alright. I'm going to go get a regular screwdriver. None of this power nonsense. And we'll see if we can take it out. Alright, here we go. Yeah, oh, seriously? We worked it loose. Alright. This comes out. Make sure we put the screw with that. And here's that piece so you can see it. There's a little rubber stop on it. Alright, next up we need to take off these bearing caps. So we're going to go ahead and I've already pre-loosened them. There's one on the other side as well. Watch me lose things again. Alright. This should come off, or should anyway. Like my degaussing tool ever. There we go. Works out great. There's one off. And can I actually get this out without taking out the other one? No. Alright. I move this out of the way and we'll spin it around. There we go. Two more right here. One, two, and then we pry it out. There we go. And now, I think, hopefully, take the whole thing out, lift this up from the back side. Yeah, I don't need to take out that other one. Here it is. Ta-da! The broken gear. Let me move things real quick. So the gear's out and we're going to take a look at it. This is how it was sitting in the mechanism here. So we're going to pull off this brass washer and then we should have this gear and then some things. So I could see that something is... Where did this go wrong? Alright, so let's see if it's actually this gear. Oh, that came right off. So that shouldn't have come right off. Why did it come right off? Hold on, let's look at this for a second. Oh, I can see it, kind of. Alright, so there's the key on top here. We don't want to lose that because we need to put the other gear back on. But let's see if I can get this closer so we can see what's going on inside this plastic gear here. Now, I will tell you that when I printed this, I should have used a different plastic, and I also should have filled it solid. I forgot to click those settings, and because of the amount of time it took where I was at work, I just kind of left it and said, well, we'll run it, and if we have to replace it, we'll replace it. So sure enough, it was this big gear that went. Let me get a light, and I'll show you so you can see the rafting through it. So we've got a light shining through it here. You can see this, I called it rafting. It's actually supports that are in here. And it makes like a little grid in there. And you can actually change those or make it a solid fill. Now, I think what happened here is, if you guys can, I don't know if you're actually going to be able to see in here, but you can see that set screw there, and that set screw is actually shifted and is not where it's supposed to be. I'm trying to get the camera. Alright, so it's shifted and it's not where it's supposed to be. So one of the issues when I 3D printed this was because it wasn't solid, there wasn't enough support for that set screw, and it actually broke whatever mount was there for the set screw, so the set screw has moved. I guess I could put a new hole in here, but again, remember, it's essentially a hollow gear, which is why it broke. Surprisingly, the teeth are fine, but it was all that extra torque on the middle that caused it to break. So all in all, not a horrible run. I mean, in reality, it only lasted like 3 days out on location, but in the home use it was fine. So we got to take those set screws out, because those set screws should be, let me see if I can point to where it is. So there's a set screw kind of in here, but it should be sticking in here like this, so it bites, but it has moved, and that's probably why I felt the clicking in there, and just what that key wasn't enough to hold it in place, I suppose. I'll try putting it back on and we'll see what happens. So I put this back on just so I could kind of figure out what's going on here. With it on just right, it catches the key and it's fine, it doesn't go anywhere, but the key, you know, is only so big, and because of that, if I push this on more, so let's get it lined up, you can hear it cracking in there, and basically that's what was happening, and I think there's bits and pieces of plastic kind of spinning around in there. Yeah, look at that. So basically, I don't know if you guys can see in there, there's a little bit of broken piece back there, and it's starting to deteriorate on the inside. But this is good to know. Hey, you need to make this solid. The hollow isn't going to work, which I didn't think it would. But so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the old gear back on and take these set screws out, and that may take a little bit of effort. But let me go get that other gear. So here we have the original gear. You can see it has a brass collar in there, or fitting, and you can see where the key goes and where the two set screws go that are actually threaded in there in this collar, and that's how they go. Now this one is showing some signs of stress cracks around the middle. I have had good luck, depending on the condition of the gear, using epoxy and a vise to kind of repair it, and it's a temporary fix if you can't get one, assuming the whole thing hasn't disintegrated on you. You know, I may put some, you know, glue or epoxy on here just to prolong the life of this gear, because we're going to put it in. And you can see there's some stress cracks here. Not too bad. on this side as well, but nothing going through the main gear. Usually it's the other gear on the main shaft that breaks, and I'm surprised that that one hasn't broke. That's probably next. I'm gonna get this whole thing back together and it's gonna break, or the board's gonna go. Somebody told me that. He said, you know what, you're gonna fix that gear, you're gonna get it all back up and running, and the board's gonna die like a week later. So knock on wood that this doesn't happen, because that would be pretty lousy. So anyway, we're gonna put this gear on, and let's see, it goes on. So we leave the key here at the top, and there's a little notch for the key, so we're going to slide that on, put it in its place, and then we'll put that on, and we'll tighten that on, and we should be good to go. I mean, it's not going anywhere now. It feels so much better. And we're going to put the set screws in there anyway, just so we don't have to worry about it. Let's take those. We'll take those set screws out. I'll put them in. You're not going to see that because it's not very fancy. And then we'll put this thing back together. So I wanted to show you this. You can see the failing point there with that set screw. The set screw should be in. There's something like this, but it moves over just like that. It has failed, and both of them have failed. So that would be why the gear failed. Alright. Alright. Now it's time to put this gear back in. We put the set screws in. They're both in there, tightened. And we took them out of the old gear there. Now it's time to just kind of place this back in. Remember, we were trying to prove the theory that we don't need to take out this shaft. So let's hope that's still the case. I think it will be. I think that'll work. Yeah, because you can get the gears in there, the teeth. All the other gear you can get in. Not a problem. Then we just got to put the bearing caps back on. Now, when Travis said he did it, he said this doesn't matter the direction. As I look at this, he is indeed correct. It's same on both sides. So I'll just go ahead and we'll put that on. And hopefully we're on our way to putting this thing back together so I can play it. Because I haven't turned this thing on in, jeez, too long, really. Of course, was this the one on the front or the back? This is the one on the other side. Are they different sizes? They're not supposed to be. No, this is the right one. See? I'm second guessing everything. Alright, let's see if that lines up. Maybe. There we go. Put the other one on, kind of hold everything in place. And then, let's see. Make sure that I didn't lose. So you got washers and nuts. We do need to put our other yellow gear back on too. The one that connects to the potentiometer in the back. Alright. And then put that on the back. Make sure I don't put those on backwards. Alright. And in theory, see, it spins like it's supposed to. Yep. So far, so good. Alright. There we go. Probably should hold on to that screwdriver. All right. Yes, we are good. Great. Now we just gotta put the springs back on, right? Not that big a deal. We'll do the one that's a pain in the neck first. On that side. So let's see if we can see this. So down here, there's a little loop that goes over this post. And then the other one does the same thing. Maybe if you can get it on. Oh wait, well that would be why. Ugh, it fell off. Alright. There's one on. And then you have to put some pressure on to get that over. Oh, now I can actually spin the gear to get that on. That's nice. See, sometimes these springs break. You can actually pick them up at the hardware store, which is nice. And then you might just have to cut it and bend it to where you need, but there we go. Now we are on. Now we just got to put yellow gear here back on. And if we look, see, look at the shaft. It does have a flat spot on it. Flat spot's right here. So we'll just want to make sure that one of the set screws ends up there. Wait, which way did it go on? I think it was this way. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna go look it up because I always forget. Wouldn't that be horrible? Get the whole thing on, put the gear on backwards. All right, I think it was on this way, based on how everything else is lining up. Yep, and that spins like it should. Perfect. Of course, I have to turn this to tighten that. All right. There's one. And let's see the other one. Oh man, I'm turning it the wrong way. And you know what I did? I know what I did. I didn't line it up. I didn't line this up to be centered. I gotta take it off again. Ow. Do I need to? Let me think here for a second. Yeah. I need to. Make sure that's pointing up when you do it. There we go. Come on. Alright, I'm going to fix this and we'll get back. Alright, I got it. I didn't need to take that gear off, but I did. I didn't even need to take that bearing cap off. So I took this one on the front off, and then I was able to move the whole thing and line up this so that it's facing straight up and down, which is how it's supposed to be, and then put the gear in. And now I can put my bearing cap back on. Maybe. Where'd the other washer go? Man, seriously? Alright, anyway. There we go. Alright, now when I turn it, I can go to the one side and I go to the other side. and it lines up in the middle like it's supposed to. If you put this on and off, you won't be able to turn all the way. So we want to be able to turn all the way, right? All right, let me put those nuts back on, and then we're back in business. Okay, gears back on. Everything's lined up like it's supposed to be, Tim. All right, cool. We'll go ahead and put that piece back on so it sits in the middle here, like this. Then we'll put our screws in. Maybe. Yeah. Of course I can't see because I'm doing this for you. Just do it for me. Of course it would help if they're lined up. Okay. One more. I'll crank that on. Clearly that other one was not in. There we go. Good. It's not like that piece is going anywhere. Great. Let's see. Now we need to do something else. Probably put it back together. That's what we're going to do next. Now that the gear is all back in place, we're going to take this and plug it back into this cage here. So slide in like so. We've got some holes lined up over here. Let's see if we can get this in. There we go. And we'll kind of slide this to make sure all the holes line up. There we go. And we'll start putting a couple screws in here, and then we'll go through, put the screws up on the front, and put the slider plate in. Now we need to find all the screws. Right? Right? Let's see, that one. Alright. Now, the reason I think I lose things is because of the cat. I mean, at least that's my go-to excuse anyway, is that they get lost because of the cat. Cat hit it off, whatever. Nah, that's not the case. It's just sometimes I forget what I was doing. No, I didn't lose anything this time. Just that one nut earlier. Maybe. Alright, well, we have the 3 screws to put in the front. It's supposed to be 4, but mine is only 3. One. 2. And sure, down here seems good. Okay, we're on our way here. Now we need to put that slider plate back on. So we have to flip this over. Like that. And let's see. As I lose screws, no, drop them. Alright, so there's our 4 screws. Goes on like this. This is that plastic. It's like a big giant plastic bushing. Really. So now that we got that lined up, pull these out. This is so greasy. I feel like when I take it apart, I probably should just clean it. Hold on. I'm gonna go get a paper towel real quick. Okay, the paper towel was just so I didn't get the camera dirty and my beer glass dirty, because that's important. Alright, that is on. Remember last time when I was trying to take this apart, I forgot that these were there. Alright, I'll turn this like that. Now I gotta put those nuts back on. There should be 4 of them. With washers, put the washers on. They always end up with like an extra washer. Bet you I forgot to put a washer on something. Oh, I can see it right now. I forgot to put the washer right here. Better do that before we forget. There we go. So I won't be so much of an idiot next time. Alright, now we change over and put those nuts on. I tell you, having something to make undoing these nuts and screws go by quickly is a time saver. Although if you watch Travis doing it, he's a pro. You can tell just by watching him, he's probably changed about 100 of these gears. He just does it so quickly. All right. Okay, that's all my loose bits of hardware over here. I think now it's time to go put it back in the game. I'm going to double check though, but I think that's where we're at. So we're going to take this over and put it back over there in the game. Guys, I hope you were yelling at me. I forgot to put the motor linkage back in. So this is the motor linkage that we took out that goes through this hole here. We need to put that back in, and we try to take out the cotter pin. So there's our cotter pin, and we had these 2 spacers here. 1, 2, 1. So first goes that first metal spacer there, then the linkage, Then another piece of spacer here. Keeps everything from not shifting around. Of course, this thing's so greasy that I keep dropping it. There you go. And then we gotta put the cotter pin back in and bend that in place so we don't lose it. Maybe if I can get my hands on it. Pliers. Maybe. There you go. That is there. And then now we can go put it in because we needed the shift linkage in. Alright. On to the next bit. For real. We are now back in front of the cabinet and the control panel. We've still got the motor over here. That's fine. Then here are the 4 holes that those big shoulder screws that we took out like these are going to go back into. But first we need to put the whole cage back in. And we're going to thread the steering shaft through that hole there without hopefully breaking anything on the other side. There we go. Perfect. Something like that. And the whole thing slides back and forth, as you guys can see. Alright, so I'm going to line up some holes here. And we'll get some shoulder screws in, put those nuts on, and then we'll put the shift linkage back in. Or not the shift linkage, I'm sorry. Am I in a car right now? I feel like I am. I'm greasy and dirty. No, that motor linkage. There's 1 screw. 2. 3. And here's 4, kind of down here by the linkage, in the way of everything. Maybe. Greasy, slippery. This thing ain't never gonna rust. Oh my god, good. There we go. Perfect. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the nuts back on. You're not gonna be able to see that, but that's what we're doing next. You're gonna definitely need to put a screw on the top, a screwdriver rather, on the top to hold it, the screw from not spinning. Okay, all those little big shoulder screws are in. Put the nuts in on the bottom. It's kind of a pain in the neck. When the control panel's still attached, just trying to balance everything and doing it by yourself one-handed. Or, well, two-handed, but you know, you get a balance. It's a balancing act. Now it's time to remove the DC motor here. And we've left 1 screw and nut in, and we left all the other screws in, but we didn't put the nuts back on. We'll undo the 1, slide it up slightly, put on our shift linkage that's right here, put the cotter pin in, and then we are going to put the nuts back on, and we're done as soon as we put the potentiometer back on, and I'll show you guys how to adjust that, or at least get it close enough. I do need to pull the game out and plug it back in, because I haven't even plugged this thing in yet. Hopefully it still works. Then, like I said, knock on wood, nothing's gonna break. Alright. Alright. Pulled out that nut and washer. Pick it up by the black gearbox here, not the actual motor. As you can see, like if I lift up, the motor actually comes out. You don't want to do that. You want to take it with the gearbox. And then slide it back in. Now if it's not lining up right, just move the whole motor cage, the whole cage with the gears over, because that slides, as you guys can see. And that's there. Our screws are down in the back. We'll put our cotter pin in and we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back in and we'll come back when we get to adjust the potentiometer. Now I want you to know that these are indeed a pain in the neck. Just even getting your hands back here to get the nut onto the screw is a pain in the neck. The first time you're trying to get this off will take you longer than it is necessary. Just because you will be able to get a good bite on it or whatever, and you could possibly start stripping these screws. So just be careful. That means also putting them back on is a royal pain in the rear. They are. Luckily I didn't have too bad of a time this time, but it's not a fun job. Alright, last thing to put on is this. We'll put our screws in. That's quick and easy. So I just turned the game on and I'm happy to see that my high scores are still saved from when I put in the super capacitor on the board and did the free play ROM and all that stuff. So this game's been off since the end of August. And it is now middle of January. So let's figure, so yeah, September, October, November, December, 4.5 months with no power going to this, and my high scores are still there. That's pretty good, I'd say, with that little super cap. Let me see if I can get a battery or a flashlight and show you where that super cap went. So there on the board you can see there's a bunch of stuff, but on the lower left corner down there, that big giant button looking thing, that's a super capacitor. It was probably about $5 or so. We replaced the capacitor that was down there with a super cap and put the free play ROM on, and it might be some of those labels. I can't remember what we needed to change. It must be some of those four, and we're good to go as far as that free play ROM, and it's been saving. It's 4.5 months worth of saving. So now that we've got the game on and we've got to adjust the potentiometer over here and put that in. Remember, I have to undo those 2 screws. I'll show you where the test switch is. We'll go into the setting and adjust it. So inside the coin door is the test switch in there. We'll push that and then we'll go to our menu. Let's see if I can reach it. Alright. So if we come back up here, you can see that, yep, it's cycling through everything because the potentiometer is not set right. So we're going to kind of go in and see. We've got to get that. Oh, where did it go? Fell all the way down in here. There it is. So let's see. We're going to go to, I think it's, well, let me set up the tripod. It'll be easier that way. Alright, you can see it's cycling through because that pot's not centered. So we're going to adjust the pot and get it lined up here. We're going to take out these 2 screws, but I need to hit the test switch when I think we get to input. So I'm going to see if I can actually just adjust the pot so it slows down. But if not, we'll put it on. Get it in there. Give me a second. Let's see. Is my pot centered? No, it's not centered. I gotta go in the other way. Ah, there we go. Nope. Back. That's output. Nope, nope, nope. Not exit. So close. Now, just stop, will you? Okay, up. Anyway, we're close. We're going to try to hit the test switch at the right time. No, didn't get it. Alright. So now you can see Handle, left, right. If I turn the pot, this turns. We want it like 80H. I think is the magic number. Alright, so there's 80H. And if you come down here and look, you can actually see, because my pot's wide open, it's centered on there. That's good, that's perfect. So now we just need to line up everything with this. Nope. Down here like this. There we go. Line it up. We're good. We might need to play with it a little bit, but we'll get it. And then we're done. But let's see, while we're in here, you can see some of the other values. Like if I step on the gas, that changes. If I step on the brake, that changes. And there's even one for the shifter. Apparently we're in high gear, which makes sense. Gotta get this tripod wide open. Too many games, not enough room. Alright. We'll do the shifter real quick too. Make sure that switch is working. Yep. We're good. So now let's go ahead and put the potentiometer back on. So we've got the potentiometer in place. It's currently sitting at 7F and kind of hitting 80H. If I touch the steering wheel, it hits 80H. That's right on it. It sits there. So we can, if we look in the manual, here's the manual, owner's manual. If we come in and we look on page 18, and you can also find the stuff online, you can see where the settings should be. We've got the accelerator and everything for the brake. But if we look at the handle here, see it's got 80H. So if you're anywhere between 7CH and 84H, you're in good shape. So I'll leave that here for a second so you can pause it if you need to. That's exactly where 80H is dead center. But as long as you're anywhere in that range, you're in good shape. And then if you want the accelerator, here's the accelerator range as well. That works for the brake pedal as well, just to kind of give you an idea where it should be set. Okay. Hopefully that helps you guys set everything up. All I need to do now is put the steering wheel back on. I'm going to put the bolts in to lock the control panel in place. We'll put the steering wheel on and then we'll play a game. And the last bolt here. Alright, that's on. Now we need our security bit. So if you need to remove those security screws, this is what they look like. This is a T30. Well, the Torx 30 security bit, so it's got that little hole in the middle. You guys can kind of see what that bit looks like. Maybe. If it's not blurry, it's blurry. Anyway, T30 is the magic number. And now we need to put our steering wheel on. There's one. This has got the classic let's lean lazily to the right setting for being straight. I mean, it's fine when you're driving. It just happens to naturally rest that way. Slightly to the right. Alright. 3 screws on. And then we get to put the Outrun cover back on. And I don't usually put a screw on, but you can. If you're on location, absolutely. Because people will steal it. Alright, now we just got to switch it back out of test mode and we're good to go. Alright, we're back together. Let's start a game and see how it plays. I haven't played it since August. It's January. It takes too long to do things sometimes, but alas, life happens. Alright. Yeah, I like that one.
Get ready.
Alright. Alright. Driving straight, that's good. Alright, here we go. Let's see how it goes. Alright, we're steering, that's good. Motor working. Get out of the side there. This is one of my favorite racing games, except for whatever reason I don't play it enough. I really need to play it more. We'll go this way, I guess. Checkpoint. Alright, keep going. Uh-oh. I am ashamed to say that I actually haven't made it to the end yet. Gotten close. And then I go play some other game. I really need to sit down and just play this game. This game's great. Great to have this game back up and running, I'll tell you that much. Well, I was looking at the game. The game's dirty. I gotta clean up all the spilled beer on it. We'll go to the right again. Uh-oh. Gotta get to that checkpoint fast. 4-3. Ooh, made it. No! We're not gonna make it now. Come on, get back in. Go, 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 go. Stage 3. Lovely trees there. Oh, poor decision. Nope, nope, nope. Should have shifted sooner. Not gonna make it. Not a bad run. I can do better. I think I can do better. Do I get to put my name in? I do. 8th place. Lousy. See some names in there that I don't recognize, like the factory names. I didn't see many people put any high scores up when we had it out on location. But there you go, guys. Sega Outrun is back up and running. This is exciting. It's been way too long. This is probably the only major casualty, not even that bad to be honest, from the pop-up arcade event I did. So now that we're all wrapped up, I can continue on actual projects that are working. Well, not working. We know how it goes. But I can move out of the basement and into the garage once the weather warms up. Alright guys, thanks again for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Hopefully that you found this useful, taking a look at that steering gear. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to help you out. Alright guys, thanks again and have a good evening.